Okay, so this video, we're going to be talking all about this book by Mark Manson, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. In this video, I'll be calling it just Subtle Art because the title is too long. What this video is going to be is just going to be a list of the main lessons and notes and things that I took. So all my notes and shit for this book are in here, this blue book. And I'll just be talking about the most important things, the most impactful things, and sharing them with you. Hopefully they can help you or convince you to read this book. Because, quick disclaimer, obviously nothing I'm going to say is going to match the level if you just actually get the book and you read it. I'm going to make a video on reading, probably, maybe some books, whatever, but with that out of the way, let's get straight into it, okay? So, the first one, this is completely not scripted, by the way, I'm just, looking through this. Yeah. Okay, so the first thing that I learned from this book is all about essentialism. So basically, what the book tells us is that we need to cut down on the things that we give a fuck about, other words, that we care about, and pour more of those. So pour more of our fucks into the shit that we actually do care about, into the essential things. So what does this mean? Normally in our day and age nowadays, we give a fuck, actually probably always, right? For as long as humans have been around, we've probably given a fuck about too many things. We've given a fuck about our social status, whatever, our clothes, if our clothes look nice, our appearance, or we give a fuck about how much money we have, how much blah 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 blah, all these things, right? And Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck says that instead of giving a fuck about all these many different things, like giving a fuck about these things and these things and these things, yada yada yada, we should only give a fuck about the very few essential things that we absolutely need to give a fuck about. And that would be family, that would be okay, I'm not a sociopath. It would be family, obviously it would be probably your friends, your social circle. It would probably be your own happiness and your own fulfillment, maybe your work, if that you find that that's very, very important to you. But you should only give limited fucks, okay? You should be very careful and choosative of what you give your fucks about, because too many people in our day and age give a fuck about too many things that are outside of their control, and that always just keep beating them down and hammering them down because they worry about these things and it's outside their control and it goes bad and then it comes back onto them. So one thing about this book that's very important, I've learned this, lots of books preach about essentialism, okay? They just do it in different ways, right? They might say cut down on everything that's unnecessary in your life, eliminate the bad things or something. All of these are just forms of essentialism. Okay. Pick my pain. Okay, yeah. So we've all heard that age-old adage, it's about the journey, not the destination. That is 100% true. So too many people be looking at their goals, right? They got these huge goals. They want to get rich. They want to have, usually it's you think about material, they want a huge mansion or something. They want to do these things. Having these goals is nice, okay? I'm not going to be a hypocrite. I have some of these goals. I have my goals written here. Having these goals is nice, okay? But the main thing you should focus on is your pain and your struggles and the journey, okay? So think about the struggles and the problems you're going to encounter instead of making goals. So what Mark Manson in Subtle Art preaches is to create a struggle list. So what that is just a list of things that you're willing to struggle through to get to where you want to be. So I have a list over here. I'm going to read some of them out to you because I'm too lazy to flip the camera. Also because my light is in the way. So I have a paper over there, literally right outside the camera view. So it's a little unlucky, but it just says I want to work 100-hour work weeks. Be very bored. Record and make high quality videos for no audience at all. Pour hours and hours of my time into something that may give me no benefit. So this is just a list of struggles that I'm willing to go for actually the destination. But the main thing about this is just the focus should be on your journey and the problems you go through during that journey. Okay, let's see. Yep, happiness is the problem. Yeah, so in the sort of same vein as that is you want to chase these problems, you don't want to chase happiness, okay? Where is this? Yeah. So Subtle Art, Mark Manson, they teach about accepting problems. Okay, so a lot of people have problems and shit that they don't accept, that they shove the responsibility onto other people. And there's two main reasons why they do this. Okay, the first reason is denial. Yes, they think there is no problem. Okay, so there's like a problem, there's a thing in their life, there's a thing that's bad, there's a thing they don't want to deal with, and they just pretend it's not there. They think it's like they pretend it's a ghost, and they just like move on with their lives, do other things, while that problem is just hammering and dicking them down. Okay, so that's the first reason people don't accept their problems. The second reason is they have a victim mentality. Okay, so they sort of accept their problems, but they don't do anything about it, and they just like wallow in their own suffering, which I think, me personally, I think is more dangerous. So they believe that there's problems, but they believe that there's nothing they can do, and they're just a victim. It's just like, oh, like, poor me, right? It's like a little like guilt, fucking guilt ball, like a ball of guilt. Okay, so these are the two reasons why people don't accept their problems. Let's see here. These excuses form the victim mentality. Okay, so people, the victims who make excuses, right? Like, oh, there's nothing I can do about it, I'm so like pathetic or whatever. They make these excuses because it gives them a temporary feeling of being like, oh yeah, then the problem's not my problem. But long term, it gives them depression. So this is something you shouldn't do. I just want to talk about this because these are the two things that sort of impacted me when I had problems. Maybe they impact you. Think about if you might have a victim mentality or you're facing like denial with any of your problems. So let's see here. Pick my pain. You're not special. Anti-entitlement. Yeah, accepting the fact that you are a piece of shit is the only way you can like grow, okay? Because if you already think you're at the top of the mountain, there's no more mountain to climb. So you're not going to climb any more mountains. So if you already think you're the best version of yourself and you're fucking awesome and you're great, you're not going to try and self-improve, right? Whereas if you think you're like a piece of shit and you think you like need to like change your life, that's when you're going to have like the most growth in your life. Let's see here. Value of suffering, great responsibility. Yeah, another thing that in this book that really resonated with me, this is something I like, this book sort of reinforces idea for me, is the idea about responsibility, okay? You should be 100% responsible for everything that happens in your life. So no matter what problems come into your life, no matter what like haphazards, even like obviously like joys and shit, you're also responsible for those. But you're responsible for everything. Because the only way you can make change to things is by taking responsibility for them. Like, they might not be your fault, right? If someone walks by you and breaks your favorite mug or something because they're lazy, it's not your fault that happened, but you still have to take responsibility for what happens next. Are you going to, like, just keep crying that your favorite mug is broken, or are you going to go and get a new mug? Are you going to beat the shit out of the person who broke it, or are you going to, like, say, like, oh, no, it's okay. Maybe you'll make, like, a new friend. What's, like, you know? So you need to be taking 100% responsibility for everything that happens in your life. Because if you don't take responsibility, saying like, oh, the mug's not, you just sit there and you say like, oh, since I didn't break the mug, it's not my responsibility. Let the other person do it. What if the other person's lazy or they're a piece of shit and they don't want to get you a new mug or something, and they don't even say sorry. They just like keep walking, or they don't notice, right? You're never going to get a mug back, or you're never going to get a new mug. What the fuck are you going to drink out of? So you need to be taking 100% responsibility for everything that happens in your life, regardless of if it's your fault or not. Okay, the final thing about this book that I have to talk about that I just remembered, I don't know where it is in the book, can't find it, but it's something called I don't remember what it's called, but basically the idea is that motivation exists in a loop. So Mark Manson says that a lot of people were going to sit in their home and they just wait for the right time, right? So they say like, I'm not going to do this thing. It's not the right time. I'm not going to do this thing. I feel tired. I'm not going to do this thing. I'm going to wait until I feel motivated or feel better to do these things. So basically a lot of people are urge zombies. They just listen to their urges. But the thing is, that's not how motivation works, okay? Motivation comes from action. You can't just sit around your house, do fucking nothing, and a motivation just like comes out of nowhere and like saves your ass. You need to actually like do shit first. Okay, take a little bit of action. From that little bit of action comes, comes a little bit more motivation. You use that little bit more motivation to do more action. Motivation comes back to you, and it sort of exists in this cycle. Okay, so I think it's called the do something principle. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I think you can quote me. But the do something principle is basically just do anything, okay? Do something, do any activity, no matter how small, no matter how like stupid it is. So instead of like going to the gym, think about just like even making a gym plan. Instead of going running, think about switching to your running clothes and getting a water bottle. So do anything, just do these small things. And when you do these small things, you'll find that you get a bit more motivation to do that like bigger task. Use that bit more motivation to do bigger actions that give you more motivation, yada, 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 until you actually do the thing. Okay, so that's basically just a random ass collection of things that I learned from The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. I highly recommend you guys read it. I'm not going to say it's changed, like I'm not going to sit here and say it's like changed my life, but it's a very insightful book. A lot of the things from this book are like practical tips or things I have used to better myself. So yeah, and if you're wondering how I read this book or something, because I'm going to be making a reading video, but not anytime soon, maybe sometime soon. Maybe I'll make it right after this one, who knows. But basically I read the book, and then every time I found something insightful that applied to me that I thought was particularly good. Also, these nonfiction self-improvement books usually have a bunch of actionable steps or like questions to ask yourself. For all of those and for valuable insights, take a notebook, write them in pen, okay? It doesn't have to be in pen, but just write them like on a physical thing, okay? Like don't type them, because typing it is not like the same feeling as writing it. So write it in a notebook, your insights and all the your answers to the questions that this book poses. And that's how you really just absorb information from the things you read. But that's basically the end of the video. Thanks so much for watching. Yeah, that's it. My voice is like parched. So next video, I'm going to be giving it like a slightly ASMR type. Okay, see you.